Ever look at a beautiful handmade piece and wonder how exactly did they make that? I'm giving you a look behind the scenes of some of my most loved sewing projects. Whether you're new to sewing or just love the craft, just spreading some inspiration your way. Let's start with the decorative bed runner. I wanted to add a soft, inviting layer to the foot of the bed, something that added charm without a full bedding makeover. This one is made entirely of 100% cotton except the edging, finished with a delicate lace edging that gives it a touch of elegance. I added a cotton poly blend lightweight backing to the back to keep everything in place. The cost of materials for this bed runner I'd say was about $75 to $80, and it took about 2 weeks to complete since I wasn't consistent with it and doing other things. It typically takes between 6 to 8 hours from start to finish. I also ran into complications with leaving an opening at the corners and mistakenly sewed them up. Can you believe that? It was worth it to make it because I was absolutely pleased when I finally finished it, but I wouldn't make it again since the entire process was too time consuming. Here's a table runner you can flip depending on your mood. I made this reversible table runner using 2 different cotton fabrics, perfect for switching up my decor without sewing twice. After sewing all the way around, I left a small opening to turn it right side out, then pressed it flat and top stitched around the edge. This not only closes the gap, but it also gives a clean finished look. It's simple, quick, and totally beginner friendly, plus you get 2 looks in one project. The cost of materials for this reversible table runner was about $30 and it took a few hours to make. It usually takes between 3 to 5 hours to make. It was definitely worth it to make it since it was so simple, and I would make it again. This sports themed bucket basket was such a fun project to sew. I used 100% cotton paired with a bold team print and added interfacing to give it structure without making it too stiff. The rectangular base really helps it keep its shape, making it perfect for storing small items like sewing notions, remote controls, or snacks during game night. It's a great beginner-friendly project to practice curves and structure. The cost of materials for this sports team bucket basket was around $20 and it took a few hours to make. It usually takes around 4 hours to make. Here's a cozy bed throw made entirely from fat quarters. Such a fun way to mix and match prints you love. I focused on blending colors and patterns to create a cohesive look without it feeling too matchy. Instead of using batting, I backed it with a smooth collie cotton blend which keeps it lightweight but still adds a soft layer of warmth. This project is perfect if you want something functional and stylish without the bulk of a full quilt. Plus, it's beginner friendly and a great way to use up smaller cuts of fabric you might already have. The cost of materials for this fat quarter bed throw was around $65. It was a bundle of 8 fat quarters and I picked out those I wanted to make into a bed throw. It usually takes 4 to 6 hours to make. It was worth it to make it since it was something different from what I'd already made, and I would make it again. This reversible Christmas placemat was such a joy to make. Both sides are full of festive cheer with fun holiday prints that instantly brightens up your table. I used cotton fabric for both sides and added a layer of interfacing in between to make it more durable. It's a beginner-friendly project that doesn't take much time but really makes an impact. It's great for adding a homemade touch to your winter decor, and they also make sweet, thoughtful gifts for friends and family during the winter holiday season. The cost of materials for this reversible Christmas placemat was around $10 and it was fun to make since it was the holiday season. It usually takes 2 to 3 hours to make a set of 2. It was worth it to make because it was that time of the year. And now it's time to ask the viewers. Okay, be honest, how do you fix a crooked seam? Rip it out immediately? Stare at it for 3 days? Add a trim and pretend it's intentional? Or cry, then redo it? Let me know your answers in the comments. I'd love to hear them. This reversible breadbasket liner was such a quick win. It instantly adds charm to any breakfast table and makes even a simple basket feel thoughtfully styled. I used 2 pieces of different cotton fabrics and finished the edges with bias tape for a clean, polished look. You can easily swap in seasonal fabrics to make it festive year-round. The cost of materials for this reversible breadbasket liner was around $15 to $20. It usually takes 1.5 to 2.5 hours to make. It was worth it to make because I wanted to see how the 2 different fabric designs came together, and I would make it again. This tote bag has a fun reversible twist that makes it both stylish and practical. I used cotton canvas on both sides, which gives it enough weight to hold its shape. No interfacing needed. It's a beginner-friendly project that comes together quickly but still feels classy and useful. Whether you're using it for grocery runs, carrying books, or as a reusable gift bag, it's a great way to sew something that's functional and worthwhile. Plus, you can customize the fabrics to match any season or personality. The cost of materials for this reversible tote bag was around $15 to $20, and it was worth it to make it because it's stylish. It usually takes 2.5 to 4 hours to make. I would make it again since it's pretty simple. It's now time for a fabric poll. Your fabric just came out of the dryer. What do? Press it right away? Pretend the wrinkles are part of the design? Fold it and hope for the best? Or cut it wrinkled? Here's a mini tip. Always press before cutting. Wrinkles throw your measurements off. If your stitches aren't straight, your bobbin has a mind of its own, or you ripped out that same seam again. So take a breath. You're not failing. You're learning the language of sewing. Every skip stitch, every do-over, it's not a setback. It's growth in motion. Even the pros started with tangled threads and fabric scraps that didn't cooperate. And here's the truth. Pride doesn't come from perfection. It comes from showing up. You're turning fabric and thread into something that didn't exist before with your hands, your effort, and your creativity. That's powerful. So take a deep breath, smile, and keep going because progress, not perfection, is what builds your confidence, one stitch at a time. Here are 3 sewing myths versus facts. The first myth is you have to start with clothing projects. The fact is, small home decor projects like pillow covers or table runners are way easier and just as rewarding. The second myth is you must pin every seam before sewing. The fact is, clips or careful alignment can work just as well for many beginner projects, especially with straight seams. The third myth is backstitching at the beginning and end is optional. And the fact is, backstitching locks your stitches in place. Without it, seams can easily unravel during use or washing. Question: what's your dream sewing machine feature? Auto threader? Voice command like sew this straight? Fabric that cuts itself? Or a coffee holder attached to the side? Let me know what your answers to this in the comments as well. Thanks so much for coming behind the scenes with me. I have full tutorials on these and links to them are in the description box. I'd love to know which of these projects you'd like to make. Drop your pick in the comments, and if you're all about easy creative sewing ideas, make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.